Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talking with Guy. And today I have with me my friend for many, many years, Marquis. Yeah, I have my friend Marquis with me. We went to high school together, and it's we've had like a long experience, as in
Really
knowing each
long.
other. Yeah,
Really long.
and so today the show is going to be about our steps from growing as human beings. Basically, our path throughout high school and how we've become the person that we are today, and why we have made decisions. We've made decisions today to the most that we will allow ourselves to divulge in.
Honestly, like when you bring up that subject
Yeah.
and like you talk about high school, I remember freshman year. And honestly,
We
like
can skip a bit of freshman year.
freshman year, like I feel like freshman year made us.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because we went into freshman year quiet. Like we were really quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of being quiet, like we kind of I feel like for everybody that's kind of that time where you are figuring like
I mean, I was
where you
a
are.
severe introvert.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you're figuring out where you are kind of, like, socially. Because, I mean, you're going from middle school.
Yeah.
Not everybody from middle school is coming into high school with you.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, when I was not in the same school, like, that you guys were that went all the way from elementary to
Oh, yeah.
high school. Yeah, so when I
Yeah.
came, I remember, like, you guys were like, what's your name? I kept saying my last name, and you're just like, whoa. Like,
'cause-
I went to a completely different style of school, and you guys are just like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I feel like you started from a public school, then moved to
No.
a charter. You were in a charter all
I
the
was
way.
in charter. Yeah.
Okay. So, just like me.
Yeah.
And back in middle school, so the way my middle school and freshman year of high school worked was I went to, I'll bleep it, but
Yeah.
I went to Match High School. And Match High School was, basically had a middle school.
Yeah.
So the middle school classes, they go to the high school classes.
Yeah.
And that school was a paradox in itself. The school I ended up going afterwards was even weirder. And so in previous episode of this show, the last person the first guest I had on the show was from my previous high school. And so basically when you first came in, like my freshman year, when I first came in, it was basically me and one friend, and that was the person I was close with, and that's basically the only person I was going to be friends with for the remainder of high school. Because I was like, I didn't really, because in high school in middle school wasn't fun. So especially with my name, and I was like,
Yeah. I remember that.
yeah, that was brutal. It kind of carried on in high school, which is why when I came to my new high school, I just said, "Hey, my name is Guy." Yeah.
For me, it was kind of a culture shock. Because it's just like in my middle school, well, you probably have heard the name Smith Leadership Academy. Yeah. Everybody, and I mean everybody, addressed each other by last name. I didn't know some people's first name until I graduated. From
Like even your best friends.
my best friend, we called, like my best friends, like the group that I had, we called each other by last name.
That's weird.
So when I came, when I came to Match, it was just like, everybody's looking at me like, Marquis, like, how are you? I'm just like,
Disrespectful.
no.
Like a
No.
disrespectful child.
No, like, it wasn't anything disrespectful. It was more so like me just going, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, this is not formal at all. Like, you're not calling me mister. You're not calling me, like, because that's what I was used to. I was used to that. So when I came into high school, it was kind of social, like, I was very socially awkward, because when I would hear somebody's last name,
Like, you put them on a higher echelon. Like, when I came, like, yeah, I kind of relate, because back in Haiti, I went to a private Catholic school, and everybody was addressed by the last name. And we had to wear uniform, And so when I showed up in my first day in America with a uniform, with like uniforms, like I had my clothes like freshly ironed and my shirt tucked in and I like church shoes on and with like a white socks.
That's making me have flashbacks.
and I walked into like first day of elementary in America. I was like, I stood out because I was like, yo, what are you wearing? Everybody was dressed down like completely.
Why are you wearing blue jeans?
No, it was like black khaki pants, white shirt, tie, and like freshly polished shoes.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this is so weird. So for I did that for like 6 months straight. I was like, oh, it must be a dress down day. I was in denial for 6 months. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, so you guys really be like that. And then I went to middle school, and then they're like, uniforms are back, tucked in your shirt. So yeah, it was like the weirdest like transitions ever.
See, I've had uniform my entire life, so going into match was like nothing new for me.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, like ninth grade, like I was kind of nervous because you guys didn't like. It's just like you guys acted a bit different.
Oh yeah.
But then I kind of got like absorbed into it, and honestly, like I said before, ninth grade is that time where you're finding out where you are, like in terms of like oh, like who like where do I fit in, like my friends, this, that, and this.
Who's like
and
the people that.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Because I know you remember ninth grade, everybody got off the green line, and just booked it, just was running all the way to school. Yeah. Like we got off at what is it?
It was like Kenmore.
No, it wasn't Kenmore. That's too far of a sprint. Like no, we got off at BU.
No, it was like the end of the year for me. I would literally get off Kenmore and not get off like I forgot what that stop is.
All right, that's something else.
Yeah.
But I'm just like
we
got off. Remember when we got off at BU, and after that, like we ran like to the school.
Oh yeah,
a crowd, just like a massive crowd.
Oh yeah,
and all the college students just like what the heck's going on?
And it was like a horde.
That like ninth grade made me because
like a
the pressure for being in a new environment.
Oh yeah. And the location of that school too.
Yeah, the location was definitely like a thing because at that time
you have to get it stepping.
I was living in Mattapan, so going from Mattapan like in the morning, waking up, waiting for the bus to get to school on time, BU, it was just like, and I mean the bus laws definitely did change. Like, well, I don't know, like bus law regulation or whatever it was like that happened in Boston, where it was just like once you reach a certain grade, you kind of just start taking public transportation. I'm pretty sure you know about that because you grew up.
Yeah. Yes. But the thing is, for me, the commute was always long because like I started off living in Quincy. In ninth grade, I moved to 3 locations. Mm-hmm. So beginning of ninth grade, I was in Quincy. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I moved to Milton. And then after that, I moved to Whitman at the end of the year.
I remember that.
And so like I was in Whitman going to school in Boston.
Yep.
And and making sure I wake up early. Like I took the commuter rail once. Because my parents would normally drive me, and then I just spend time at my dad's work and then take the train. So one time I actually overslept, and then I had to take the commuter rail. And then taking the commuter rail, I got lost in Braintree. Because I didn't know I got lost in Braintree because I didn't know what train to take. Mm-hmm. So I let 2 or 3 trains pass by, and forgetting that Braintree was the last stop. So yeah. But I'm not a morning person, so if the best way to frame me for anything, actually, I'm not going to say that. We can edit that, right?
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, but I mean, yeah, the commute was like, I had to wake up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was literally an hour commute, bus and train, and it's just like ninth grade year, like it was just, ninth grade was just chaotic.
Oh yeah, it was.
10th grade,
That was calm.
we kind of
Ish.
felt, we
Yeah.
like everybody kind of had like a clique.
Yeah.
Everybody hung out with like this particular group.
Except me.
Everybody like had like this particular, the lunch tables.
Yeah.
You could tell.
I mean, yeah.
You could tell who was friends with who.
Yeah.
Based on where in the lunchroom everybody sat, because everybody who was friends with this particular group was at this lunch table. They like.
I feel like a semester in ninth grade, everyone kind of like, okay, this is who we're cool with, and then kind of like create subgroup from the main group, and then there's like, okay, this is my specific clique of people that I'm gonna ride for like a long time, and some of us kind of stayed there, except for me because I left.
Yeah, you ended up leaving.
I
was gonna say
right after high school, right after ninth grade.
Yeah, I
finally got a comfortable friend group.
Yeah, ninth grade, like when you left, like I would say, like it completely changed because it was just like, okay, like everybody went to being awkward, like near the end of the year, and then 10th grade, like kind of mellowed out.
Yeah.
11th grade, for some reason, it was just like everybody kind of started to become like friends, like with each other. Like I feel like that was kind of like a good time.
And then 12th grade is when everybody started weeding the people they really don't want to talk to.
Well, 12th grade, I'll say 12th grade for me was honestly like, that was like when I really like I'd say 11th and 12th actually was when I had already kind of found my like place and like in high school and stuff. And honestly, like those were also like the hardest years for me, and it kind of made me like get into a sense where it's like, all right, so like you can't let certain things like dictate how you're going to act. Like yes, like it's sad and stuff like that, but like for me, I kind of just like looked at it like I'm gonna go to the funeral, like which the funeral for my great grandmother, I had to go all the way to North Carolina, and And I remember like freaking out. I was like, I gotta go back to school. Like, we've been down here for a week. I gotta go back to school. The funeral's already happened. And it's just like, when I ended up coming back up, it was just kind of like, I felt like I like had this sense of maturity, which I feel like at that age, when you are 17, 18, you kind of tend to have that maturity where you can be like, okay, like I've been out of it like for a little bit, but now like I need to go back in and like get things done, graduate, and then I'm done.
Oh yeah.
But I will say, once you hit 18
in high school
and you are walking across that stage, I will say that like just talking about college and high school, when you get to the point in high school where you're talking about college, that's when I will say like you have no idea. Like, well, I won't say everybody, but I would say like a majority of people I knew, we had absolutely no idea what we want to do.
Oh, no one does.
Like, no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I could ask Ryan, did you know what you wanted to be when you graduated? Like, fresh out?
No, not at all.
Nobody knows.
They put the pressure on us, like, you need to know what you want to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, like, I know what my desires were, but I don't know how. I literally did not know how to turn my desires to income. Because, like, everything I was interested in was in the creative aspect. But everything that I want is the creative aspect, but creative don't pay bills. You can be creative, but it doesn't pay bills. Now, come forward to, like, high school, 9th grade, I finally got this group of people that I'm, like, cool with. There's this girl I really like, and I was like, this is basically, okay, I got my whole 4 years set up, and I was like, I got this, and so I was like, this is how I mapped it out. I was like, right after high school, I know I'm gonna, because I had a thing with myself. I was I'm not going to date anybody while I'm in high school. I may want to, but I'm not gonna, because reasons. And so, like, literally, it's like I got the girl I really like. I got the friends that I was like I'm cool with, and I know the people who don't like me already, and I know the people because back in high school, for a brief moment, I lived in this apartment complex with a lot of people who partied all night, and so when you're hearing at like it'll be like 11:30 at night, and then you hear, and then at a one you hear, you know, that a puppy, and I was like, again, and then next thing you know, you see your whole bed bouncing to the beat, and like you can't sleep, and that was like the MCAS season, and so I was like, I can't stay here. And so like, and so in like around ninth grade, like that is like when like you really feel like this sucks. Like I can't stay up. So I got like addicted to like Monster energy drinks, and so I was just, like tired with this ball of like energy. And when I'm really tired, I'm just chaotic to be around with.
Yeah. Yeah, I can vouch for that. Yeah. I remember the teachers literally told me to take your Monster. We were in class, and you have 2 Monsters on the desk. Teacher's just like, you're his desk partner, take his Monster. And after I took your I went to go take one, you just like,
Oh, yeah. But I'm not talking about like the tiny Monster.
I know, it was the big ones. And I'm just like, you don't need both of these to last throughout the day.
I did.
You had coffee. We always stopped at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts.
I had coffee in the morning, and my Monsters periodically throughout the day.
Nah.
And it got so bad, I was developing like a problem. Like I would literally be walking like normal, and then I know it. I had to clench up my heart because it was giving like palpitations. Palpitations, yeah. And so like I really messed up my insides, but my physician said I'm healthy, so.
See, now you're talking about like messing up your insides. I would say, like, me personally, once I got to college, I would say I still had no idea what I wanted to do. Yeah. But when I turned 21, I was just like, I'm going to have fun. And
oh man,
it was just like, I remember like me and you both, like I was 21 and me, like this is based 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, we were just like, it's when we were like trying to like figure out what we wanted to do, because I feel like back then, like when it came to like
before COVID, let's just say that.
I wouldn't say before COVID.
No, for me, before COVID, I was basically a puppet of my parents. I was like,
I was thinking more so like when it comes to like going to school, because I feel like when it comes to like when it came to college, I feel like back then, I feel like I'm not gonna say that it was easier. It definitely was not easier, but I would say like I feel like people had more of a kind of like, I'm doing this.
Yeah, narrow. Like this is like the path that I am going to.
Yeah.
And like because like
do what you're good at. Yeah. And stick with what you're good at.
And pick a major that is in that field. Like oh, you're good with computer science.
Yeah. Whereas,
which is like what like my parents were like, hey, you're good with computers. Computer science, and also stay in college and be in this one path of line. And I was like, I'm not really that interested in computer, which it pays good.
See, at least your parents were like, you're good at this. See, so go with it. Like when it came to my mom and like talking to like my dad, like just like my family in general, it was just like, you've been reading, medical books and stuff from like this age, so you should go to be a doctor. Like, oh, how this works. You were in the robotics program like at your middle school, so like you should go. You want to do this in robotics. Engineer. Oh my God, like you're really good at like I buy you chemistry kits. I bought you chemistry kits since you were a little kid, so you should be a chemist. And then after that, oh, I see your notes. You've been watching Neil deGrasse Tyson, so you must really be into astronomy. So guess what you should do? you should try to go into something, maybe astrophysics or something like that, and try to figure. I'm like, and then like I remember having that talk with my parents because I finally did decide what I wanted to do, and this was in my freshman year of college. I told my mom, I was like, I was terrified to tell her this, by the way. I was like, Mom, I want to be a marine biologist. Because the reason I was kind of scared is because like I had this kind of like feeling where I'm like, I didn't want to pick something that disappointed my parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
because I was afraid because I've been playing with the idea. Okay, maybe I should take a gap year and then make something in the gap year, and they'd be like, "Hey, look at this! I'm making money, and it'll be college graduate money, and I'm not a disappointment failure."
No,
right?
But the thing is, like taking a gap year is good. I've learned that taking a gap year,
it's good.
Taking time off.
But in the eyes of a Caribbean parent.
Taking time off. Well, I don't know that, but I'm like taking time off. I'm just like it's good because that's another thing about growing up. If you need time to figure out like what you're going to do, because I feel like you don't want to go into life without a plan.
Yeah. No,
figuring that out. If you need time to figure that out.
Yeah, I walked into college.
Take time to figure that out.
I walked into college without a plan. I was changing my major every month.
Yeah, me too. I went into college and I was like, you know what, computer science, and that's when they're just like, okay, we're gonna put you in this program, and that's when I was like, wait, astrophysics. And that's when they were just like, they were like, yeah, and they were like, are you sure you want to? I was like, yeah. And then I remember, like, I was like, actually, I want to do, what is it called? I wanted to do something. It was something weird. I'm like, but then they were just like, yeah, they were
English
like,
major.
They were like, why don't you, you were already, doing pretty good. Why don't you try to find something still in STEM?
Oh, they know me. Like my advisor got to know me pretty well during my first semester. He's like, "Oh, it's you again. How are you doing?" So, what major would it be this time? Quite literally, we had.
Did you only go for one?
What, my major?
Yes.
Yeah, I went from one major to another to another to another to another to another to another.
And
the thing is, like, you're paying for this, right? I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm taking prerequisite classes for all of them.
See, my experience.
I'm taking general courses.
When it came to college was, I told my advisor this. I told admissions this too. Mm-hmm. And they were like, no. I was like, I want to go in as a quad major. I want to have 4 majors. I was like, I can't make it work. I told him, I was like, I can't make up my mind. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know like what's going on.
That is a bad thing. I feel like I honestly feel like you should. The age to go to college should be 40. I mean 30. 30.
Oh, I wouldn't say 30.
No, for me personally, unless you know exactly what you need,
yeah,
I say 30 because at 30 years old, you've had enough like begin life experiences to be like, okay, get your shit together. Because like, everybody that you know that's 25 years old and plus, mm-hmm. they're in the process of they already got their things together or they're about to get the things in order. Yeah. And so like for me, like when I walked into college, the first day I was like, I don't know why I'm here. Because my passions are basically this, being creative, writing, and I am not going to take a journalistic class because I did the math. It's the college degree and what is not worth it. Yeah. And especially like nowadays, all you really need is a social presence, and you're technically a trusted news source, which I'm not. No, because I mean everybody is acting Joe Rogan he needs to be factually correct. So,
see, but doesn't he kind of say like that it's his own opinion? Doesn't he make that kind of clear? He
does.
Yeah, I'm like he makes that kind of clear.
But the thing is, like people, like the thing is, like everything that you watch,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that someone is doing. Like if you try to police it,
Yeah.
don't try to police something that you're watching, because the thing that came into it is basically two people sat down to communicate about a certain topic.
Yeah.
That, let's just be frank, none of us know anything about what we're talking about, except our personal life experiences.
Yeah. Anecdotal.
Yeah. So if you try to say, hey, he's spewing non-factual stuff when it is, at the end of the day, what you call it, opinions, you're right to have an opinion. Even if you're like, even if the show end up having like a bunch of like half the world, or like if we're in the level of Joe Rogan, which I don't really see that right now, but but yeah,
Sure.
even if we get to that level, it's opinions.
Yeah.
And if you don't like my opinion, if you're on YouTube, look to the side. There's all those suggested videos. I mean, quite literally, it's like this. If you don't like what you're watching, you can literally go and watch something else. But if you're like, no, he needs to be canceled and disclaimer, then there's need to be a factual thing. The thing is, you listen to somebody else's point of view, and then you came up with a whole different point of view, and then you're like, okay, I can see the world a little bit better now. I feel like that's how we take information. It's not like, okay, let me go look up something. Oh, I want to know about if the world is flat. Joe Rogan said it's flat. It must be flat. It doesn't work like that. Even when you read the news, it's like you have to go from BBC to Fox to MSNBC and then CNN, and then be like, oh, okay. So all of them are saying this. That's the truth. Everything else is fodder and biases.
But like, do you feel like that kind of like took you to like experiencing, like going through like I feel like, do you feel like anything that you like experienced like through those years of high school, like up to college, like made you start to develop that opinion?
Yeah.
Especially going like to high school. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like even like me being in this space, like in this studio as of right now, it's like it's kind of a whole circle, because before I was always intrigued about, okay, I want to know how to record and film, and I've learned that here. And I was like, I want to know how to edit. I started learning that here. And then after I left my volunteering days here, and I ended up doing side projects, even some freelancing work on the side, and I did that, and because of this place.
You kind of have always had this like entrepreneur kind of, I'm gonna like think about you. I'm like, because I remember like when for example, like, which I mean, you have grown from it.
Yeah.
You definitely have grown from it. I would tell you that, because I remember when you called me at like 3 a.m, and you were just like, hello? I'm just like, what? I'm like, I'm sleeping. You're just like, you want to start a clothing line? And I was so confused. I was just like, you call me at 3 a.m. And then after that, you're just like, I'm like, what's the name? And I'm just like, Pistachio. I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, did he like think about this in like 5 seconds and call it like, this is a great idea, and he gets it on paper, call me at 3 a.m. I was just like, it seemed like before you were, and that's why I'm saying it's good to take a gap year. This brings you back, because you took a gap year throughout all of this, and it's just like,
I failed, I failed, but I learned from my failures, and now this is
yes, the gap year allowed you to do things. It allowed you to experience things. It allowed you to figure things out, and you made mistakes. We all make mistakes because we're human. There's no such thing as a perfect human being. But I'm just like, you made those mistakes, and you built things up.
Yeah.
So you were just like, I can't do that again.
And the things I learned
can't be rash. I can't be in a rush. I need to do things.
Oh yeah, I was always in a rush.
Yes.
Like the reason I had,
and I can relate to that.
Yeah, the reason I had like 3-4 bottles of Monster Energy drinks was like the day's going too slow. I need this day to end so I can just. And the thing is, when you start drinking Monster Energy drinks, and then you start from the small bottles, after a while they stop being effective. Then you get a bigger bottle, and then you get 2 big bottles. Then you get 3 big bottles. Absolutely horrible for your heart. But it makes your day go out a whole lot faster, and you have the energy to bear with people.
And that is, I will say, like, that is the person's fault. I'm just like, because they clearly say on the can there's a serving size for a reason. Like, if you have to have that many monsters, you definitely are going over the serving size.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like,
and so yeah, I was in a rush for everything. But the thing is, for pistachio, it was like I was thinking about it for like a half a week. And I had the designs already up. I think I had I did the research and the website and everything already. And then I was like, I called you and I was like, hey, do you want to do a clothing line? And then I was like, and then because like for me, my idea was I can create this clothing line, and then because I grew contacts. Like I had manufacturers from Italy that were gonna do.
Which are still contacting me. They still contact my personal Instagram. I'm so serious.
I grew like manufacturers from Italy. There's this place in Siberia, Romania.
India, remember that?
Yeah, India, Pakistan,
China,
and China. I had manufacturer that was like this, that had like a whole, like I had a fall selection design, because like I had like design that I made on the site, but then I had a whole manufacturing like team that was like, hey, we're going to do this free of charge, and we'll do the promotion for you, and then we're going to. And then you're going to put it on the site, but we take 60% cut. But the thing is, it was because a lot of people wanted the brand name pistachio.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The brand name pistachio, a lot of people wanted it. But because they couldn't have it, they wanted to make a deal with me to be like, hey, okay, so this is what we want for the fall line. Do you agree? I had a valuable name. And the thing is, because they're like, that sounds posh. And I was like, really? I'm happy you don't know what the symbol means.
Yeah, and I remember when you were talking to me about where you wanted us to take pistachio, and I'm just like, in 2 years, you want us to be like Supreme? I'm just like,
no, because
it's like you wanted the fancy designs, and then you were just like, okay, we're gonna be able to slap pistachio on a shirt, $2,000.
Because the way I saw, because the manufacturers that was talking to me, I was like, okay, this is definitely the route of like those people, because like I did well. Like doing the like connecting with those manufacturers, I did amazingly. I don't know what I did, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could communicate with them, it was to the point where they're like, hey, we would really want to work with you. And I was like, I don't have any money. They're like, it's fine. You may not have any money, but we want to work with you if you're willing to put the time and the effort, and we will grow this business as big as well. And then like there's this manufacturer like, all right, once we have the fall line ready and because it was like almost end-ish of the year, and so they wanted to start working for like the next year models.
Yeah.
And so they had this jacket. I don't know. Did I show you the leather jackets?
We were looking at those together, yeah.
Yeah. So like the leather jackets, like they had this like really like this is going to be what we're bringing out next year on the market, and we want that to be exclusively for you, pistachio. And then I was like, okay. Like I'm here thinking like I was like my head got big with pistachio, and it took me like taking it back. I was like, okay, this is really good. But financially, I could not keep it running.
Yeah.
Like, neither of us could keep it running because
Yeah.
we were in our
I was
early
in
20s.
school.
Yeah, you were in school. I was part-time in school, too.
I'm just like, what did it, like, and I remember us telling, what was his name?
Yeah, but it's it would just fake name.
I'm like, I remember literally, like, us talking to the dude about it, and I remember, like, when it came to everybody who we were looking to kind of sponsor, so we were just like, we're college students, we're broke, we have no money, just like,
Just so you know.
be like, please help us.
We don't know what to do.
We have no idea what we're doing, and it's just like, how
It
old are
felt
you guys?
like we were like, it felt like we were in like Lion's Den.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the clothing industry is brutal.
It's very competitive.
It is.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was. I thought Supreme can put their logo on a brick, but they did so much to get to where they are. I kind of like, you notice the end result for everything, but when you see but you never see the growth of it, because I saw those like big brands. I was like, oh, I can do what they're doing.
You were looking 100 steps ahead where you were 2 steps back.
Oh no, I was 50 million steps.
Well,
back.
I'm just saying you it's like you were at the start. You took 2 steps back from the start. But while you were taking 2 steps back from the start, you were already looking.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I was acting
at step
like
100.
Yeah, I was acting like Pistachio was a branded LLC. We had a really good team.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, when I ended up taking, like, when I started to take off, like, the year, like, from school, and, like, we really dug into, like, Pistachio, looking at the design, stuff like that. Honestly, I would say, like, it really, like, I feel like that was also me growing at that time.
Yeah.
Because I want to start a business one day.
Yeah.
The business I want to start one day is completely different, and I feel like people laugh whenever they hear it. I want to make... I want to make a like a mom and pop shop where like we sell tea, coffee, and
Like a breakfast place. Dunkin' Donut breakfast place.
No, I wouldn't really say breakfast. I kind of wanted to like open, like make it like where they sell like because I mean, as you know, I've been like learning more about like my family, where they come from and stuff like that. Like and I was just like, I was like, I see those stores and those shops and stuff like that where they sell like that kind of like those kind of cuisines and foods like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what if I made like a really successful mom and pop shop like that was over here like selling like Portuguese pastries and like all of that stuff, and we're gonna try making this, or we're gonna for lunch for some reason. I don't know why I'd put this on the menu when I said that I'd be selling coffee, tea, and pastries, but I don't know why, but I was just like, Cape Verdean, like throw some cachupa like inside the menu, which is a stew. Just like I didn't really understand.
Like a multi-Portuguese cultural.
Cape Verdean, like a Cape Verdean. I want to make a Cape Verdean like mom and pop shop where you just different things, like where you have some things from Cape Verde, you have some things from Portugal, kind of like a mix of that. And that I was just like, it'd be nice. But after that, I had for me, I feel like Pistachio kind of made me go, yeah, you need to think about that more before you go do it. Yeah. Because in my mind, I was like,
because we started Pistachio without a business plan. Mm-hmm. We started Pistachio on idea, and every success-wise, as in contact that we got from Pistachio was basically luck.
Yeah, it was pure luck. And
the fact that we had any of the investors talking to us was luck.
But the thing is, remember also how we felt at that time. We were 20 and 21.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
we were optimistic as
no. It's not even the optimism.
Naive.
I'm just like, because this mom and pop shop came up when I was 21, And I'm just like, literally, I'm going like, huh.
Yeah.
And while working on Pistachio, I'm just like, you know,
Let me rethink my plans.
no. It was just like, I'm going to do this, and this is going to be amazing, and I'm getting old, and I'm going to be wrinkly, and I'm going to...
So I gotta do things while I'm young.
I got to do things while I'm young. I'm like, and then, like, I remember, like, recently I actually went to, when I went to go get my physical, literally, like, my doctor was just like, oh, you're 20 there? I'm like, yeah. And after that, she's like, yeah. She's like, you're young. I was like, I feel old.
Oh yeah,
I was like, I feel like I am old. I feel like I'm wrinkly. I feel like I feel like I've aged. Like,
but the thing
I've
is,
been on Earth for a century. That's how old I feel.
I remember I was at a restaurant and then like my knees kind of popped. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so old. There's a 70-year-old like I was sitting behind me. Just like, can you say that again, young man? But so like even coming up with like this show, I literally sat down and made a business plan.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, this is because Pistachio is basically. I feel like the lessons and the things I've learned from Pistachio is worth a college course, or a whole degree, because I've learned how to communicate. I learned how to leverage. I learned how to check my balance sheet.
Basically,
finance.
We learned a life lesson.
Yes.
We learned that there are certain things that you
don't just
jump into things. You don't just come up with an idea and then be like,
gun it.
You don't make things up as you go along.
Oh yeah.
There have been many people who have done that and they are very successful. But that chance is very slim when you don't think about what you're going to do.
Yeah, which is like after Pistachio, I had to like really take a step back.
Yeah.
And then after Pistachio, I went to an identity crisis. Because I thought, okay, I always want to be an entrepreneur, but if I'm not making a business, if I'm not owning something, then am I really this entrepreneur that I dream of being? And so I was like, you know what? Let me start working. That was a moment in my life, and because I was down, I was like, let me start working, and I was like, okay. And I went from this place, which I wasn't passionate about, but the pay was good, and then I ended up getting a job where I was making like $80K. Well, if I stayed on that job, I would have made $80K. And then I was like, okay, let me go to this job. And then I was like, okay, it's paying me really good. And now let's see. Oh, this job is hiring and it's paying more. And it's just this job. And then literally I was going like hop. When really I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
I'm 21. I have no clue what I want to do with my life. And it is a depressing place to be.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, you know what? Nah. Let me do the things I'm actually care and passionate for.
Yeah, and that's what I learned.
I have no business in clothing. I never cared to be a fashion, because when I said, hey, everybody, I was like, oh, I own a clothing line called Pistachio. It sounded nice. And then everybody saw my clothing line, and they were like,
he's clout chasing.
They're like, you own a what? I was like, yeah. And so when they saw that, I was like, oh, so this looked like a jumble of stuff with the Pistachio logo slapped on it. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, like all those times, I was at nowhere. But now with this show, I literally let me see my competition. Let me see what I need to work with. Let me see what works and what doesn't. Surround myself with the people that, like, I have a certain group of friends who does YouTube. Let me surround with them, get some idea of them. Let me go on Reddit and research this. Let me live in the embodiment. Okay, yellow is a color that attracts people with thumbnails. Let me do that, and let me be on this field that I'm passionate for. I want to be a real estate agent. Let me study and get it. I passed my state exam for my real estate exam. So yeah, I have my federal exam that's coming up. I'm not gonna say the date, but I have my federal exam that I need to do, and I know I'm gonna pass it because I've been studying it, and I know I'm good at it, and then I'm gonna be doing the things I'm actually dream of doing. Because I feel like when you're doing a job and you're not passionate for it, you don't care for it, it kills you in the inside.
Well, the thing is, one thing that my parents told me, and they still tell me, is you don't want a job. You want a career.
Yeah.
And a job, you don't like your job.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing something and you don't like it, you're doing it simply because you're just like, this is good. That's what you call your job. When you're doing something, you're like, I love doing this. I would do this every day. Like if somebody called you any time of the day, no matter what you're doing, you drop everything to go do it. That's a career.
Yeah.
Because you love what you're doing. And that's where,
and it doesn't matter what the pay is.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what the pay is, and that's why, like.
But still needs to be livable wage.
Yeah, I mean, of course it still needs to be livable wage, but I'm just like, when it came to it, like that's why I kind of decided to go into marine biology.
Yeah.
Because I love animals. I'm gonna be honest, I love animals.
Yeah.
I love the ocean. I love aquatic life.
And it suits you.
I love all of that. I'm just like, I've always gone like to beaches. I was that kid where my parents would take me to the beach and we'd be there like all day. And when low tide came in, or when low tide happened, I would literally be that kid digging in the tide pools and stuff like that, like grabbing like different things, crabs, clams, all that. Like that was me. Yeah. And I, like, growing up, I kind of always was doing research on the ocean.
Yeah.
And while I was taking, like, that's something that I did while taking time off from school. I was trying to figure out, like, what do I want to go back and finish?
Yeah.
And I was just like, because I have kind of gen eds, where when you were focused on a degree, but yet, like, even though you focused on the degree, like, those different classes can kind of branch off. Yeah. So then I kind of solidified my biology because I saw what's happening in our oceans. And I'm passionate about it. And that's what I want to do as a career. Something that you're passionate about. Something that you've taken time to really, like, dive into. Something that you also are knowledgeable about, so that you can one day teach other people, so that when you're retired, you're like, okay, this is how this works, or you're gonna take this on. This is what you're gonna see in the field, so that it kind of keeps that field alive. And that's something I feel like I love.
Yeah, that was just wise.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe, like, when you get out of high school, we don't know what we want. Unless you're that kid who knew from, like, freshman year you wanted to be a doctor, then yeah. So, we're coming fast on our time.
Yeah.
And so, is there anything that you would like to end or close with in a minute?
I would just like to say, like, honestly, like, it's like, in terms of, like, growing and finding yourself, like, as an adult, I feel like, honestly, the more time you take to yourself, the better.
Yeah.
Because if you constantly go chasing something and you don't know what you're chasing,
you'll chase your tail.
Yeah, you're chasing your tail. There's absolutely no purpose in what you're doing. You need to find out what you want to do. You want to find that purpose, and you want to grab onto that, because that's what's going to drive you.
Yeah. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, this will be the conclusion of Talking with Guy. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and see you next time.